Michigan running back Khalil Mullings comes up big in the big house. The former linebacker dragging the Trojans down the field on the final drive. He finished with 159 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, including the game winner with 37 seconds left. The Wolverines racked up nearly 300 yards of offense on the ground and hang on to beat USC 27-24 on CBS. CBS Sports HQ is built by the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Back here with Emory Hunt, Brad Crawford. USC will slip in the rankings after their road loss to Michigan. Brad, how far do the Trojans fall, and what's the outlook for USC with plenty of season left?
Yeah, plenty of time left to get back in the Big Ten and expanded college football playoff picture. They do have that win over LSU in their back pocket, but this one's going to hurt a little bit. I think USC falls from that 11 or 12 range to maybe 18 or 19, and Michigan should move up. Look, Lincoln Riley showed us so far this season that while they're improved defensively at the line of scrimmage, they still got punched in the mouth. And we wanted to see today in Ann Arbor, is USC for real? Don't know if the Trojans are yet, but we know Michigan still is. Reigning national champions, can't throw the ball yet with Alex Orji, but still have that dominant ground game. And really, like we said earlier, got a must-win situation in Week 4 where Michigan's season was on the brink of extinction.
Yeah, you have to drop USC in this poll because I didn't like what I saw from the offensive line. I didn't like what I saw from them situationally in the second half. And I didn't like what I saw from Miller Moss. I felt like he got a little bit panicky in the pocket, didn't really make good decisions with the football, kind of rushed a throwaway a couple of times where he just dirted the football to the back. So for me, you dropped him out. But Michigan, you know, Brad touched on it. They saved their season. They got back into the mix and with a dominating performance. They played one hand behind their back offensively, but, man, they were able to knock out USC with that strong right. And it was their run game. It was the fact that they were efficient up front along the offensive line. Defensively, they got stops when they had to. They had a defensive touchdown. So this was a collective team win, a team that was playing a must-win game. Michigan, I thought they did a fantastic job. So they move up. You might even see them swap spots with USC in the poll.
Wolverines make a change at quarterback. Alex Orji had just 32 passing yards, fewest passing yards in a game for Michigan since 2000. Michigan poised to make a leap in the rankings, but Emory, can they sustain the production on the ground and the lack of production through the air?
No, you can't sustain it.
Right. And
they're going to have to find a way to incorporate some sort of a passing game. If you're thinking about this in terms of how the military schools do it, the Army, Navy, Air Force, they are also sprinkling some of the passing game, but they are hell-bent on running the football. Now, Michigan, in order to expand their offense, you got to find a way to get some easy throws for Alex Orji, some simple throws, some throws that gets him into a rhythm. Again, you don't have to throw for 300 yards when you're running the football like they are, but you have to get to at least 150. If you can get to 150, then your offense, in my eyes, is balanced. So you can't go out there and throw for 30 yards throughout the course of a game and think you're going to get to the college football playoff. That's not going to happen because you're going to find a team on the other side that can block up that pressure, that's not afraid to challenge those defensive backs one-on-one, and that can handle the situational pressure of the moment. So until that happens, Michigan, great win right here in Week 4, but now they have to move on and see how they can expand their offense. And I think you got to find ways to get Orji involved in the passing because you can lean on your ground game at the end of the day.
Yeah, the good news is Michigan the next 2 weeks before it plays unbeaten Illinois in October, plays Minnesota and then Washington. 2 very winnable games. Wolverines will be favored in both those games. And I think, Emory, it's a chance for Sharon Moore and the offensive staff there for the Wolverines to get Alex Orji in some sort of rhythm, a comfort zone, and just throw some passes at line of scrimmage. Just get him some confidence in the passing game because right now he just hasn't shown that outside or inside the pocket, for that matter.
They do have a tough schedule. I mean, you can see Illinois, who's resurgence here, Oregon, but that's a home game for them, and then, of course, end the season at Ohio State. Moving to the SEC, 6th-ranked Tennessee goes on the road, beats 15th-ranked Oklahoma. Welcome to the SEC. Sooners, Vols make a statement defensively. Brad, what did you learn about Tennessee on this night?
Yeah, we've talked so much about Nico and Josh Heupel's fast-paced, tempo-driven offense, Dylan Sampson, the running back. But for 19 quarters, man, Tennessee had not allowed a touchdown all season. Oklahoma had some success there in the fourth quarter with the dual threat backup behind Jackson Arnold. But I've been thoroughly impressed with Tennessee's front seven defensively. Did not allow too many explosive plays. And when that SEC schedule toughens up here in a couple of weeks with the games against Alabama and Georgia down the stretch, I mean, Tennessee's secondary looks really good. And we know they have a first-round, top-5 pick, even edge rusher, James Pierce. As long as Tennessee does not turn the ball over offensively, had a couple mistakes tonight, but if they can kind of, keep that offense going and playing as well as they are at this defensive side, I mean, this is one of the SEC's playoff teams, in my opinion.
You know what this team kind of reminds me of, guys, is when Steve Spurrier was at Florida and that '96 team where they can throw the football all over the yard, but they can run the football. No one talks about what Fred Taylor was able to do running the football. And defensively, they were excellent. This looks like that team in terms of how they're built, because normally when you have these teams that want to spread the field, play tempo, and play what people like to call finesse, they're not as physical on defense. Well, that's not the case for this Tennessee Volunteers squad. They're very physical on defense. They dictate the terms up front along the line of scrimmage, and they have a secondary, like Brad talked about, that's able to go out there and cover man-to-man and play the ball and really turn the ball over as well. So I like how this team is built. Don't think because they throw the football and spread you out and go 4 wide or 5 wide and go tempo that they're not physical. They run the football when they want to. 50 rush attempts today. Yes, the lead played into that, but they also were able to run the football when they wanted to. And you have a quarterback that's growing and getting better each and every week. This is a dangerous team moving forward.
Yeah, the standard of Tennessee is to be elite on defense. That's what Josh Heupel said earlier this season. All right, let's go through your top 12 teams following Saturday. And Emory, you better come correct, because last week you didn't even have Tennessee in your top 12. Where you got them this week?
I did not have them in my top 12. The reason why, it was Show Me Saturday. I wanted to see them versus a real team. This was a real team, and they dominated that real team. Look where I have Tennessee, folks.
Okay.
So stay on my mention.
There we go.
They're number 5 right now.
I like that.
So I like Texas, Ohio State again, but really that's Alabama going to be right there at number 3. Georgia's 4, Tennessee right there. Penn State is at 6. Miami drops a little bit to 7. Ole Miss, now you have to show me something as well. You fall in that Tennessee role. They're 8. And listen, when we look at this team, Tennessee making the biggest move, going from unranked to number 5.
Unranked.
Right.
You're crazy.
Unranked, but to number 5. But in all jokes aside, this Tennessee football team, I drew the comparison to the 96 Florida team or 95 Florida team. This is what they're built like. They look finesse, but they are physical, and they will beat you up. I love what I saw today. I'm excited what I can see moving forward.
Brad, where you got Tennessee?
I've got Tennessee right outside the top 5. I think at number 6. I think there's an elite tier A, which is Texas, Georgia, Ohio State, my top 3 teams. Then you've got Bama, Ole Miss, Tennessee, 3 more SEC teams. And then I think there's some teams outside of that mix that also have a chance to win the national title this season. Miami, Cam Ward, Heisman frontrunner. Like I said, Oregon, Penn State. And then Missouri. I still have Missouri in the top 10. I know they did not pass the eye test against Vanderbilt today. They even punted on 4th and inches late in that game with a chance to win it. Near midfield, Drink was kind of, got a little afraid there. But Missouri's schedule, fellas, it sets up for success. And I still think Missouri's a top 10 team. Michigan's a team right now that I think moved up today, but I am still worried about that passing game. I don't have Michigan in my playoff right now, but I do think they're going to be right around that top 10 in Sunday's AP poll.
Tennessee's moving to 5. They beat the 15th team in the nation. That's just, it's going to happen. Like, I get it. Like, I mean, who did Ole Miss beat tonight?
Exactly.
Georgia State?
Georgia Southern.
Georha Southern?
Not one of our...
Tennessee went on the road and beat the 15th team in the nation.
Well, listen.
They're going to the minimum at 5.
I was torn with my 11 and 12. Because you know who I really was going to put in there?
Yeah, I bet I'm waiting for this.
And listen, because
I can actually get behind it.
Hey, listen, Army is going to be undefeated by the time they get to Notre Dame. And no one wants to have the conversation of the Army Black Knights being in the postseason. Shout out to Navy, too, because Navy is going to flirt with being undefeated as well when those 2 teams meet. So, for me, Army almost made my top 12, but also keep an eye out for UCF and Toledo and Pitt, too. Pitt is playing some really good football, but my top 12 is what it is, but Army almost made the list just off GP.
I like that. I can get behind that. Brad Crawford, Emory Hunt here with their college football look ahead on CBS Sports HQ. And here's a look at the odds to win the national title following Saturday's action. Ohio State listed as the favorite at +330, followed by Georgia, Texas, and Alabama.